Hello and welcome to the In the Money Media YouTube channel. PTF and JK back with you ahead of a really great day of racing at Monmouth Park. We've got 4 stakes. We're going to talk about special contests happening. If you go over to Horse Tourneys for just $1, you have an opportunity to win a seat into the Haskell Day Challenge. We're going to be doing some live streaming content. We'll put notes about that elsewhere. If you ever want to keep track of everything we've got going on at In the Money Media, the best way to do it is to subscribe to our free newsletter. I bet you thought I was going to say YouTube channel. I'll put in that plug in a minute, but our free newsletter really gets you in with all of our content, inthemoneypodcast.com/email. And yeah, I'll do the plug for the YouTube channel too. Thanks to everybody who got us up over 9,000 subscribers. Next stop, 10,000. JK, you excited about these 4 stakes at Monmouth? It's really one of the premier, if not the premier, signal in the country on Saturday.
Absolutely, yeah. And with Monmouth's new partnership with us, it's America's Day at the Races. It's even more fun to be able to be plugged in with what they've got going on. I've had 2 trips down to there, one with you, one without you. You know which one I enjoyed more, and yeah, looking forward to it.
We kick off with the Eaton Town Grade 3 action for fillies and mares, going 1 mile and a 16th on the turf. This was a race where I wanted to make the pace angle the thing. And maybe you'll call me a homer, but looking at how the pace figures play out, I know she went to the lead last time and was dominant in victory. This time around, I think she'll get a forward sit and can maybe finish. But our old pals at Black Type Thoroughbred and Reagan Swinbank, I thought Sacred Wish was definitely worthy of major consideration in the Eaton Town. I know you've been a fan for a long time. Is she on your tickets, and who are the main threats to her?
No, I'm ice cold with Sacred Wish, and it's not just a homer thing. It's not just because they're dear friends that are in the ownership. It's just that I followed her story, and when you follow a horse's stories, it gives you a different perspective. If you look at her 2 best races she's ever run in her life, it was her last race, and it was her Coaching Club American Oaks, where she almost wired the field but was beat by wet paint. Now, that was on the dirt, but my point is she likes being forward. Kendrick knows it. George Weaver knows it. Black Type Thoroughbred, Swinbank Stables, they all know it now, and I think she's going to be used that way. She's drawn towards the inside. I think she's going to be tough to beat, and I got to tell you, I'm looking forward to potentially seeing her in some big races up at Saratoga.
Do you think they want to be on the lead? I was hoping Stock and Pounce, just looking at how much other speed is in here. What do you think about when you talk about forward? Do you just mean like forward, or do you mean in the front?
Well, that's the thing about Kendrick. He does really well that I think people misunderstand that he's a speed rider. He's not a speed rider. He's a forward rider. He gets his position moving forward, a phrase that Richie Migliori has used so often. He pops away from there. He'll be forward with her. And if someone wants to go ridiculously fast and take it, then he'll let them. But he's going to discourage them by making them know they're going to have to earn it if they want to be in front of them. That's one thing that Kendrick does well. I think that's what he'll do with Sacred Wish.
I think that sounds good. That gives me some confidence. I will say I'll throw in the 7 Tax Implications as a B runner who I think could prove to be the best closer. I think if Sacred Wish goes too fast, attacks too soon, something like that, it could set up to be a race that falls apart. And in that case, that's the one that I would be looking for. Let's move on to our next stake race here. We've got these 3-year-olds in the other Pegasus, the Naira Bets Pegasus, listed stakes, some familiar names in here, JK. Hades back to the races, Tuscan Sky, Otello, Domestic Product, our old pal C Streak, competitive race. Who do you like to win it?
Yeah, I'm going to go 5, 7, 8 in here. Singling Sacred Wish. I can get a little bit more coverage here. I'm against Tuscan Sky. Tuscan Sky was meant to run on Black-Eyed Susan Day, if I'm not mistaken. And maybe no. It was Preakness Day. Supposed to run Preakness Day. There was a Shug McGahee horse in there that won after an inquiry. But Tuscan Sky got scratched that day. To me, there had to be an issue. Now they're coming back in kind of against the plan. That horse is going to be bet very much. Hades showed a lot of talent early in the 3-year-old year. I like that horse. I'll also, like I said, use the 7 Domestic Product, who I thought was very interesting in the Kentucky Derby. Had some trouble in there. This is a horse that's been Sierra Leone's work partner. And then C Streak. I like this horse. This horse is very impressive in the last race, the Long Branch. But not just that. If you're going to Monmouth and you happen to be around New York City, take this C Streak and then bet the horse C Streak. Another fun adventure that we had on the anniversary, Pete, of the last time Austin and I went to the Natural History Museum.
That's right. It is a great ride down there. We joked about C Streak's name last time, not just a hunch play. And I agree. I think this horse could get the absolutely perfect stalk and pounce trip. I want C Streak on my tickets for absolute sure. And Domestic Product, I think, is a horse that, we made a wise guy case for the horse in the Kentucky Derby. I think I'm probably supposed to at least try to keep him on side in the Naira bets Pegasus, which goes as race number 10, prep race for the Haskell, obviously. Next up, we have the Monmouth Stakes going a mile and an eighth on the turf with 150,000 in the pot. And again, some big, nice, familiar names, a robust field of 9 competing here. Who do you think is the most likely winner? I'll ask it that way for this race.
Yeah, for this prep for the United Nations that we'll see a little bit later this summer. There's 9 horses in the race. I need a third of them. I need Beatbox, who I thought was supposed to run significantly better, but I'm going to forgive this horse because of the soft ground last time at Pimlico. I'm going to use the 5 Siege of Boston. The horse has got a couple of really big runs, really big numbers for Jimmy Toner, and I know Jimmy doesn't get as many good horses as a lot of these other fellows do, but we know that Jimmy can absolutely train, and I think the Siege of Boston looks like a real one. And then the 9 Running B for Chad Brown, another one who I thought ran well last time, but I'm going to forgive because of the soft ground, and I'll use those 3, 2, 5, and 9.
Sounds to me like we have some similar angles in here. It was going to be the don't let the turf, the soft turf from Pimlico that day, put you off horses you like. And that led me right to Beatbox as a very likely one. Also, Running B, a horse that ran kind of inefficiently through that race and didn't seem to love the ground. Chad Brown, I don't know why, and it's not every horse, but it does seem sometimes like the soft turf can be kryptonite for his horses. Have you ever noticed that? Do you think there's anything to that idea?
Not necessarily. I think that the reason your brain probably does that is because his horses are always a little bit overbet. So when they don't run well, the disappointment sticks in your brain a little bit harder. That's my didn't think about it quick way I would answer it.
This is silly because it's the kind of thing we could absolutely look at numbers, but I'm just, it's not from my notes. I'm just giving you some ideas here. I'm just going to be a little bit quicker to forgive. It looks like the weather's going to be terrific down there on the Jersey Shore. I should knock when I say that. One more race to cover. Grade 3 Salvatore mile. We're going, obviously, a mile on the dirt. Got some big names in here. A horse that I've always been a big fan of. Getting back to the dirt, sort of an interesting spot for number 4, Cheryl Spite. One that I want to mention, who I think will probably be a price in here off the confusing recent form. Not really confusing so much as just, not necessarily up to par, but we're talking about grade 1 turf races, changing things up on the dirt. That's one that'll be on my tickets. Who do you like to close out this pick for?
Yeah, it's weird seeing Cheryl Spite show up as a horse who's so darn talented on the grass, and has 0 for 2 on the dirt, gets back on the dirt. Look, I'm watching. I'm just not betting. I'm going to use the 2 Bright Future, who was kind of a wise guy type of horse in last year's Breeders' Cup Classic. He's got some nice runs, but I have to have Arturius as well. Yeah. Arturius, a horse who I always thought was going to end up being pretty darn good. And he's just always had a lot of starts and stops. You look at his running lines, lots of breaks in there. He's been in his own way. This son of Arrogate, I thought, ran very well last time. And he was odds on that day, but he ran well, closing into a slow pace, and one that you might want to take a look forward to as one of those kind of older horse types that could actually grow into what we all thought he might be.
Yeah, I like that idea. I want to definitely be backing up with 2s and 3s there as well. That's going to do it for this piece of the show. The audio will be on the podcast side. Another way to get our content, if you're watching on YouTube and you want more, is to subscribe to the In the Money Players podcast. But whether you're watching or listening, definitely want you to get involved over on horsetourneys.com. $1 is what it costs. Have an opportunity to win your way into the Haskell contest. Go over there and play. We're going to have a live stream production meeting in the middle of the show, JK. We may end up being on at a slightly different time than I told you before. If you can join in, you will. If not, we'll see you soon enough. We see this guy all the time. It's okay. For JK, I'm PTF, and we'll be talking soon.